Thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Eshaan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dulhaba Odandra. I have been working in Gram Vikas as a community mobilizer. Today, I am very glad because I am going to share my experience with you.
So like Dulhab sir said, we've come from India. Today he'll be speaking to you in his mother tongue Oriya as well as some English, and I'll be translating in between for him. So we've come from an NGO called Gram Vikas, which is in India, as we said. Specifically, it's in the state of Odisha in India. And within Odisha, we've come from a special place we'd like to tell you about called Bafla, which is in the heart of Odisha. So as they said in the introduction, I joined Gram Vikas just this year. So we thought we'd start today by just telling you a bit more about the place we've come and specifically how I got to Bafla the very first time I joined Gram Vikas. So this is what the journey looks like. The nearest town is about 100 miles away, and there's only one bus that goes. And then it's a journey of about 9 hours on that bus through the forest to reach Bafla, where Dulhab and I work. So that day in the town was my first day. I decided to get on the bus. And there I am on the bus, and when I got on, I wasn't alone. I was joined by about 200 people, no seats available. And not just people, those people had brought along with them chickens and goats, but mainly lots of chickens all over the place. And so this is actually, I also noticed the bus wasn't in a great condition itself. It had some, didn't look like it might make it. But there's a picture of me on the bus that day, in a bit distressed. But I figured if all these people are going to make it to Bafla in this bus, then I'm going to have to make it there with them. And somehow I'll find my way. So there I was. I set off on my journey. First week in Odisha and Gram Vikas, and in the middle of the forest, the bus breaks down. So there I am, stranded with 100 people. I don't speak the local language. I've now learned it. But stuck with 50 chickens and 5 goats and 200 people I can't talk to. So what could I do? Could I call an Uber? Unfortunately, no, there's no Uber available in this area. Could I just call someone, call Dulhab sir and say, hey man, I'm stuck, like I really need help. Can you come and pick me up? No, that wasn't an option either because there's no cellular network in this entire area. So, how did I get home that day? Well, unfortunately, we don't have time for the full story, but I decided you can come and ask me, or Dulhab, we're here for the next 2 days. But the important part of this first half of the story was to tell you a bit about Bafla. One is that it's really difficult to get to. 2 is that it lacks really important basic services, including cellular network, water, electricity. And then the last point is that it's a rural area. And those are 3 main reasons why Gram Vikas works in this area. We work to provide basic services like water and electricity in places that are hard to get to. And that's a picture of Bafla village. You can see there's no roads, no connecting highways. That's where we've come from. So that's where my journey in Gram Vikas began. And now I'll hand over to Dulhab sir to explain where his journey in Gram Vikas began.
Thank you, Eshaan. Ebe Eshaan apana manu kahle kimti Bafla re pahunchibo, road nahi, rasta nahi, basic toilet nahi, ki facility nahi. तो सेही रे मु जो काम करछि मोर एक्सपीरियंस ऊपर मु आज आपन को शेयर करबा को जाउछि.
So he said, today Eshaan explained to you how hard it can be to reach Bafla, and today I'll be sharing with you my experiences working in the Bafla area.
जेतले मु मैट्रिक पाठ पढिली मैट्रिक पाठ पढिया पर मु देखिली 1999 रे ग्राम विकास रे वाटर एंड सैनिटेशन ऊपर काम चलछि तो मु सेटे काम करिया पे गंजाम एरिया रे आग्रह प्रकाश कली.
So he said, my journey in Gram Vikas began when I was in 10th grade. As soon as he finished 10th grade, he joined Gram Vikas because he was interested in the work they were doing, benefiting the area he is from, and he started by working on water supply projects. And that's what he looked like at that time.
आपण माने देखुचंदी मोर जेतले मु ग्राम विकास रे प्रथमे जॉइन करथिली जॉइन करिवार किछि फोटो टॉयलेट कंस्ट्रक्शन रोड नै रास्ता नै बड़ बड़ पत्थर उठेई कि केमदी लोक सेठे manually काम करूचंदी.
So he says, this is me when I just joined Gram Vikas, and look at how difficult it was to work. So all those, you see those 2 men in the front, they're picking up these huge boulders, these massive boulders with their bare hands, because they're clearing the foundation for a structure. And in the back, you can see all those massive boulders. All of them had to be individually picked up by people, no machines, no electricity. So he's just sharing with you how difficult it was in the beginning and how sometimes difficult it can be to work in these areas.
ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିବି 2012ରେ ଚିରିକା ଗାଁର ଲୋକ କେମିତି ସେମାନେ ଟଏଲେଟ୍ ବନାଉନଥିଲେ, ଟଏଲେଟ୍ରେ ଯିବାକୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଅଭ୍ୟାସ ନଥିଲା, କିନ୍ତୁ ସେଇ ଗାଁରେ ଆମେ କେମିତି ସେ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମ କଲୁ ସୁନାକ ଦେଇ ଉପରେ ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୋରି ଏବେ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ କହିବି।
So today I'm going to tell you the story of a village called Chirika, which is near Bafla. It's a story from 2012 where I tried to build a water supply and sanitation system. And the star of this story is a tribal woman named Sonangde Maji, and that's her photo.
ସେ ଗାଁରେ ଲୋକ ଟଏଲେଟ୍ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆଗ୍ରହ ପ୍ରକାଶ କରୁନଥିଲେ କାରଣ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ପାଇଖାନା ଯିବାର ଅଭ୍ୟାସ ନାହିଁ। ସେଇଠି ବହୁତ ଜାଗା ଅଛି, ନଦୀ, ଝରଣା, ଜଙ୍ଗଲ, ପାହାଡ଼, ଏଇଠି ସେଇଠି ଝାଡ଼ା ବସିବାର ତାଙ୍କର ଅଭ୍ୟାସ ଅଛି। କନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ସନ୍ ମେଟେରିଆଲ ସେ ଗାଁ ନେବା ପାଇଁ ସିମେଣ୍ଟ, ଗାଡ଼ି ଘୋଡ଼ାର ବ୍ୟବସ୍ଥା ନାହିଁ। ତାପରେ ଆହୁରି ଗୋଟେ ବଡ଼ ଜିନିଷ, ସେମାନେ ଭାବିନଥିଲେ ଯେ ଲେଟ୍ରିନ୍ରେ ଝାଡ଼ା ଯିବାଟା ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ବହୁତ ଫିଲ୍ କରୁଥିଲେ। ଘରେ ଛୁଟିଆ ଘରେ କେମିତି ଝାଡ଼ା ଫେରିବେ ବୋଲି ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସାଇକୋଲୋଜିକାଲି ତାଙ୍କର ଫିଲିଂ ଥିଲା।
So they told him, Dulhaba, we don't need toilets. First of all, it's going to be such a hassle to get all the materials to build toilets over here. You remember the bus. And then they told him, we have so many places that we go and poop already. We go and poop in the hills, we go and poop in the river, we go and poop in the jungle. And it's going to be so weird. So first of all, pooping is gross. We would much rather do it far away from our house. You want us to build a small little latrine or a toilet next to our house so we can sit and poop right next to our house, and all our poop's going to collect right next to us. That's so gross. We'd much rather just keep doing it the way we're doing. So he faced a lot of adversity.
तो एते लोगों को बुझेबा परे से बाबा तमे बाहर झाड़ा फेरुचो, झाड़ा फेरले पानी पूरा पानी खराब हो जाउची, काछकुंडिया रोग होई कि देह सबु कुंडिया होची, तमे किछि काम करि पारनो। छोट छोट मां माने फील्ड रो आसी कि पानी बोही कि नेबे, पानी बोही कि नै कि पिल्ला को काखे कि घर रोषे करबा सेमन पय बहुत डिफिकल्टी थिला। आमे बुझेला परे भी सब लोक 100% राजी हो नथिले।
So what he said is he explained to them that, listen, when you go and poop in these open areas, it rains or the river overflows, and then the very same water that you're cooking with, you're drinking, you're showering in, you're brushing your teeth with, that's been mixed with the poop of the whole village. And that's, spreading diseases rampantly. They had skin diseases and digestive diseases, and it's just spreading waterborne diseases. And then lastly, it's the role of the women to go. There was no local water supply in the village. So the women of the village would have to go far off to these rivers and these places and collect the water, only to be collecting water that was already infected with their own poop.
तो ये सब बुझेला परे आमे भाबिलु से गाँव देखिलु गुटे सोनांग देई माझी गुटे आदिवासी स्त्री लोक से पूरा फ्रंट को आसिला, सब लोक को गैदरिंग कला, ताको आमे गुटे गाँव को एक्सपोजर नैथिलु। से गाँव प्रथमे बाइक जाउ नथिला, रोड नै, रास्ता नथिला। जेतले आमे बाइक चलेलु, बाइक रे पूरा एमदी भेड़ी की धरिथिला हमर पेटो को। तो सब स्त्री लोक मन को आसिला परे से गाँव लोक मन को ए कार्यक्रम पई बुझेथिला।
So what he said is, people, even after explaining all those reasons about diseases and how dirty it is and how dangerous it is, they still weren't ready. So he decided to take the people of Chirika to a nearby village to show them Vikas has built toilets and water supply and it can benefit your lives. But people were still scared because the only way to go from Chirika to that other village was on motorcycle. And they'd never seen a motorcycle before, and they were too afraid to even sit on the back of Dulhaba sir's motorcycle. But there was one fearless woman, her name was Sonangde Maji, and she was the first one to step out of her house and say, Dulhaba, no, this is for the betterment of my community, and I want to go with you. And so, terrified, she steps onto the bike and she hugs onto Dulhaba sir like this, really, really tightly for the entire ride, in fear of what was, like if the bike, like it's making these loud noises, the gear is changing, it's accelerating. But she made it to the village, she saw how it benefited people's lives, and she made it back to Chirika. And then she got more people to go with Dulhaba sir, and she began to take a huge role in the work of building the water supply system in her village.
से सुनाक दे एक्सपोजर आसवा परे से गाँव रे केमते लीडरशिप नेला, इटा तैयार करिबा, मेसन अरेंज करिबा, केते इटा लागुची, वाटर क्यूरिंग, प्लास्टरिंग, सीमेंट केमते आसीबो, टाइमली केमते काम चलिबो, सोना सिंह रो इनिशिएटिव थिला।
So this is the kind of work that Sonangde then started to look after. She started organizing how many bricks will we need for the toilet. So that's what a toilet looks like. It's a simple building. And then there's no sewage, so we build a pit called a soak pit out of bricks and basic construction materials. That's where all the waste of the toilet goes.
ସୁନାଙ୍ଗଦେଇର ଟଏଲେଟ୍ ସରିବା ପରେ ପୁରା କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟଲି ଟଏଲେଟ୍ ୱାଟର ସପ୍ଲାଇ ସହ ସେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବାକୁ ଯୋଗ୍ୟ ଥିଲା।
So he said, this is Sonangde Maji. At the time, we just finished building a toilet. As you can see, there's the water. It's a basic squat toilet, and there's a tap inside. That's the water supply. There's no flush. If you want to flush the toilet, you have to fill up a bucket and pour it into the toilet. It's called bucket flush. So this was what Sonangde fought for, to exist in every house in her village for the betterment of her community.
ଏବେ ଆପଣମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ସୁନାଙ୍ଗଦେଇର ଛୋଟିଆ ଭିଡ଼ିଓ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି। ସେ କେମିତି ସେ ଗାଁର ଲୋକ ପାଇଁ ନିଜ ଗାଁ ଲୋକ ପାଇଁ ଇନିସିଏଟିଭ୍ ନେଇକି ସେ କାମ କରିଥିଲା। ଲୋକ କେମିତି ଟଏଲେଟ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବେ, କେମିତି ଟଏଲେଟ୍ରେ ପାଣି ପାଇବେ। ଅନଫର୍ଚୁନେଟଲି କାମ ସରିବା ପରେ ସୁନାଙ୍ଗଦେଇର ସ୍ୱାସ୍ଥ୍ୟଗତ କାରଣରୁ ସେ ଆଉ ଚାଲି ପାରିଲା ନାହିଁ। ସି ଇଜ୍ କ୍ୱାଇଟ୍ ଏନେବଲ୍ ଟୁ ୱାକ୍ ନାଉ। ସୋ ସେ ଗାଁର ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କର ବ୍ୟବହାର ଉପଯୋଗୀ ହେବା ସହିତ ତାର ସେଇଟା ବହୁତ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କଲା ତାକୁ ଲେଟ୍ରିନ୍ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ।
So he said, Eshaan will first show you a quick video of what Sonangde looks like today. So what he said after Eshaan will show you the video, what you'll see is that she caught a horrible disease and she fell ill. And that made it very difficult for her to walk just as the toilet construction was being completed. So it's a very bittersweet thing for Dulhaba sir. The bitter part is that such a wonderful and active lady, truly remarkable for her area, fell ill with this horrible disease. But the sweet part of the bittersweet is that the toilet she fought for to benefit her community ultimately had the biggest benefit on her, because now she can't afford to go as far as the rivers or the hills to go and poop. She can only afford to go as far as her bathroom that she fought for.
Thank you, Eshaan.
So that's the story of Chirika and the story of Sonangde Maji. Now we'll be moving to a story from my short time in Vikas. I've been working there to renew a solar energy grid in the village of Maligaon. And I wanted to start with a quick video that will take you to Maligaon.
ଭଲ ଲାଗିଥିଲା ଆମ ପରିଦିଶ ଥିଲା ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା ପୁରା ଅନ୍ଧାର ଥିଲା ପରେ ଲାଇନ୍ ଯଦି ଆସିଲା ସେତେବେଳେ ନୂଆ ଥିଲା ନା ସେତେବେଳେ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଥିଲା ବେଶୀ ହେଇଥିବ 5-6 ବର୍ଷ ଖଣ୍ଡେ ହେଇଥିବ ହଁ 6 ବର୍ଷ ବ୍ୟାଟେରୀ ଖରାପ ହେଇଗଲା 6 ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ହଁ ଆମ ଗାଁରେ ଲାଇନ୍ ଅସୁବିଧା ଅଛି
So that video is borrowed. Thank you. So that video is borrowed from a crowdfunding campaign that I'm running for this project. But the reason I wanted to show it to you is because I feel like it really takes you to Maligaon and it shows you how the struggles people face without electricity. Two important moments in that video I want to reflect on. First is this interview I did with these two young women. They're a little bit younger than me. They're both about 18 and 20 years old, respectively. And the first question I asked them was, so when was the first time you saw electricity? And without giving it a second thought, their answer was, when I was probably 14 or 15 years old. So I just want you to take a moment, close your eyes for a second, and just try to think of the first time you saw electricity. I think we're all very hard-pressed to find that time. Because it's something we've all just taken for granted since we've been born, really. The second part of that video I wanted to focus on was this. So that's Tulsi. She's about 5 years old, and I see her do her homework like this every day. And what she said at the end of the video there was she held up the torch in her hand and she said, "Mom, I finished my homework." And so these two girls that I talked to you about, they're actually the elder cousins. The one on the right, Kuntala, she's the elder cousin of Tulsi. And both of these girls dropped out of school in the 8th grade. So what one day Kuntala said to me, I was told the people in the village I'm meeting with a top government official to get funding for our project. Kuntala came to me and said, "I want to go myself to tell the government that I don't want the same fate for Tulsi, my younger cousin, that I had to face. I can see what happened to me is happening to her, and I don't want her to have to drop out of school like I did." So there's a very proud day when the three women presented to that top government official sitting there on the left. And that was the day the government decided to support our project. There's a second quick story I want to share with you from Maligaon. This is Kamal. He was a boy when we first built the system. Now he's a man, and he's married. This is what he looks like today. And one day in a village meeting, we were talking about how many solar panels we'll need to fix the system. And I said, listen, we can manage with this many solar panels, and we'll get light bulbs in every house. And he said, "Eshaan, light bulbs are important to me. But what's more important to me than light bulbs is actually, I need a pump." I told him, "Why do you need a pump?" He said, "Come, I'll show you my land." So he said, on the left over there, that's someone else's land. That's near the river. So water naturally flows through it. As you can see, it's fully green. People are growing rice over there. Then we were on top of a hill. He turned around and he said, "Look, that's my land. Completely dry, and I'm not able to cultivate any water on it because it's at a higher location. And I have no way of getting water over there." And he said, "That's why I've been married, Eshaan, for 4 years, and I decided that I don't want to have any children because I don't have a stable livelihood. I can't make ends meet with the current harvest that I have. And I need a pump. I need a better livelihood. I need an empowered livelihood to be able to start a family." And that really opened my eyes as to the different uses of electricity that are necessary in rural areas that we don't think about in our city lives, right? We only think about charging our mobiles, our laptops, and yeah, I guess lights in our rooms. So that really opened my eyes as to the importance of electricity in rural areas. So today we told you a story about water and sanitation. And we told you a story about solar energy and electricity and how it impacts education. And then we told you a quick story now about livelihoods, which involve both water that's necessary for irrigation and solar electricity. And the reason we decided to show it to you this way now here on this slide is because all these areas are interconnected. That's why Gram Vikas doesn't work in just one area. The problem of village development, of improving people's lives, involves the interconnections between all these different areas. And why are they connected? They're connected because of the people, the real humans at the foundation of these problems in these areas. Their issues are the reasons that these areas are connected. Kamal is a perfect example. His problem, his need for electrical power and water is a connection between water supply and electricity that you cannot ignore in order to solve problems in village development. So I'll now hand over briefly to Dulhaba sir to explain the meaning of the name of our NGO, Gram Vikas.
Gram means village. Vikas means development. Gram Vikas literally means village development. गाँव जो लोक अच्छा आदिवासी महिला विभिन्न टाइप लोक केमती से डेवलपमेंट हम केमती से पाठ पढ़े केमती लाइवलीहुड हम ताऊपर ग्राम विकास काम कर ग्राम विकास सेतिक अर्थ ना मो स्पेशल अर्थ ग्राम विकास सिंबल टू हैंड दी हाथ तो ग्राम विकास केमती लोक मानकर उन्नति करने सहित मुझे केमती 20 वर्ष है कम कर मोर भी से विकास है मो एरिया मो गाँव मो राज्यर मो लोक मान ग्राम विकास केमती डेवलप कर तार अर्थ हूँ ग्राम विकास विलेज डेवलपमेंट.
So what he said is that the meaning of Gram Vikas, Gram means village and Vikas means development. But it takes on, for us, villages are the places you saw in the video that I showed you today, places you see on TV or on the internet. But what he said for him is, so for us it means village development, the development of villages and other place. He said for him, Gram Vikas has a very different meaning, because for him, Gram, village, is his home and his people. And this process of development, village development, is only made possible by people like Dulhaba sir, who extend a helping hand and tightly hold the hand of a struggling community through the myriad problems they face over the course of decades to help make the world a better place, to help improve their lives. So I thought the reason it was so important to bring Dulhaba sir here with me today was to share that special meaning of village development that Gram Vikas has to him, because that is truly how people's lives are improved and how the world is made a better place. It's because of people like Dulhaba sir and their commitment. So thank you very much for your time today.